Well, welcome to Common Ground with John THEILLON. That is me. I'm your host. It's true. I'm back. Yeah, after doing it from the Northern Command Center in central New Jersey, I'm back to the Hamilton studios here. I'm your coach of communication. I'm your captain of collaboration and of Common Ground. Don't forget it. I'm also the mayor of Reeltown. Don't forget that either. Now, what that means for those who, again, might not be familiar with it is just I'm always working to keep things as right down the line as possible. Truthful, not candy-coated, and as real can be. With some people, I have to tell you, that's a pill that goes down kind of bitterly. It doesn't go down real easily. For other people, they crave it. So here's my tip to you. Be a craver. There you go. All right. Hey, we come to you today from, once again, the studios of Hamilton Media's Hamilton Radio, just off the intersection, so to say, where I-195 that goes from Trenton to the New Jersey shore, where I-195 and Route 206 intersect. They meet in Hamilton Township, New Jersey. Mere moments, ladies and gentlemen, from the Garden State capital of Trenton. Yeah. Hamilton Radio for over 26 years is now an iHeartRadio station. It's the flagship station. Boy, I always have trouble saying that. That and the word Saturday. I can't say Saturday because the T goes away. But yeah, Hamilton Radio is the flagship station for Common Ground with John THEILLON. It's also the home of the exceptional radio broadcast network, the ERBN. More on that as things unfold. It's going to get bigger and better. Don't know when, don't know how, but you stick around, okay? Here's the thing. For the absolute best in music and entertainment, from outstanding independent groups and artists to all the greats that make up the soundtrack of our lives, and the best holiday music and Christmas sounds, it's Hamilton Media's Hamilton Radio. A couple of ways you can access us now. Go to iHeartRadio.com, number one. Once you're there, number two, search for Hamilton Radio Oldies. That'll get you to Hamilton Radio, or even better, go online and check out the new HamiltonRadio.net. That's right, HamiltonRadio.net, Hamilton Radio, all one word, .net. Simple as that. And that was my phone doing the train ring. I'm going to have to give them a call back because you folks are most important right now. Yeah. HamiltonRadio.net. It's the best. It really is. It's the best of music and entertainment all on one great platform. All right. So last week we talked about some stuff pertaining to our country. Today I want to talk to you today about you, about me, about all of us, about not wasting pain. You're like, what? Yeah, well, I know pain's not normally thought of as a positive and upbeat, a can-do component of our lives. You know, it certainly isn't always thought of as something that enables one to be of good cheer, but hang on. Plus, and as I think about stuff, where any pain has been concerned in my life and those who are or have been important to me, there's pretty much always been a component of our creator, the boss. It's just how it works. There's been a godly, a religious, a spiritual, better word, a spiritual component about it. So trust me when I tell you, that's going to be a good bit of how I'm presenting this, don't waste your pain situation. We all go through disappointments, setbacks, losses. Pain is a part of life. And I tell you what, it's easy to get discouraged. You've done it, I've done it, we've all done it. It's easy to get bitter, and think, why is this happening to me? And please, again, we've all done it. We've all felt this way. But one of the best principles that I have learned is don't put a question mark where there already has been put a period. Got it? Here, again, don't put a question mark where there's already been placed a period. All of us have things that we don't understand. One reason is we just can't see the big picture for our lives. For example, all right, say you've got a puzzle. Like the box, the 1,000-piece puzzles. Love the 1,000-piece puzzles. Say you've got a puzzle. On the front of the box, there's the picture of what it's going to look like when you finish it. You see how it looks. You see how it feels. You see what it's going to be when it's done. Maybe it's, skyline of New York City at dusk, or maybe it's the sunset overlooking the ocean. Oh, I like that better. As a whole, it's really fantastic. It's nice. It's really so beautiful. But then, if you were to reach into the box, take one piece out, isolate it, you might think, huh, look at this weird looking, funny looking piece. It's got to be a mistake. It's not going to fit anywhere. It's an odd, weird shape. There's really nothing nice, fantastic, or beautiful about it. Fact is, that piece has a perfect place. It's already been fit. It's already been planned. It's already been designed to be a good, big component of this puzzle. When the other pieces come together, it'll fit right in. Easy as pie. Easy as pie. Now, the reason you can't see it, or I can't see it, or it can't be seen right now is because all the pieces, quite honestly, they're just not in place yet. It's the same way, or in the same way, I should say. Sometimes we look at pieces in our lives, and they just don't make a lot of sense. They don't make any sense sometimes. You heard folks say things like, and I've heard these people, well, I've been through a divorce, I lost a loved one, I'm going through cancer, my business is off, my money is tight, I just cannot see that this is any plan, any part of a plan that the boss has in mind for me and my success. Yeah, I get it, but here's the thing. You've got to trust that even in the painful times, the times that you hurt some, if you have some hurt, it's just, again, it's part of life. Those times when you're lonely, as you're taking treatment for an illness maybe, on the surface, that piece doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's necessary, fine, but it doesn't make a sense. The boss doesn't make mistakes. Know that. The boss, God, doesn't make mistakes. He's already designed our lives. He's already opened the box, so to speak. He's laid out all the puzzle pieces down to the smallest details. Also, never once, think about this too, never once was it ever put out there in whatever fashion that we would understand everything that happens. It just happens along the way. That's just how it works, period, Can that be frustrating? Absolutely right, it can. On the other side of those events, though, there have been many, many aha moments, at least for me. And I bet for a bunch of you folks too, okay? There was never a promise that we would never have any heartache, never have any pain or disappointment, loss, setbacks, and all that business. But what has been promised, folks, is that it would all, in the end, work out for good. You know the old saying, when it's all said and done, everything is going to be okay. If everything is not okay, that just means it's not all said and done yet. Same principle. And whatever piece, again, whatever puzzle piece that's painful, the things that, as they're happening, don't look like they make any sense, when everything comes together, folks, those things will end up fitting perfectly into place. Now, the key of all of this really is what we do in our times of pain. Pain will, it's going to change us. It's going to change us. It does. It will. Heartache, loss, disappointments that very often they don't leave us the same as we were before any of this stuff happened. When I lost my mother in late June of 2014, and then when I lost my father just 2 years ago last week, I didn't come out of those things afterwards exactly the same as I was before. I had some change about me. If you go through a divorce, a legal battle, maybe a friend betrays you, eventually that'll pass. It will. You will get through it, but you're likely to be a little bit different. Now, how the pain changes you is up to you. You can come out bitter, or you can come out better. You can come out with a chip on your shoulder, blaming this, that, or the other, or even God for that matter, about all your difficulties. Or you can come out stronger, with a greater confidence in you, your life, your creator, almost anything. You can come out defeated. Yeah, you can, give up on your dreams maybe. Or you can come out with a new passion, a new fire in your butt, excited about the opportunities that are in front of you. They're right there. See them? Right there in front of you. Folks, each and every one of us has and will experience some pain. Here's the challenge. Don't just go through it, grow through it. Check that out, man. You see what I just did there? Don't just go through it, grow through the pain. The curveball, stuff that makes you go, oh man, that difficulty, is an opportunity to get stronger, to develop character, to gain some new confidence, or as they say in Pittsburgh, confidence, okay? To continue working toward that common ground. That's why I'm here, remember? I am the captain of common ground. Hold, please, for this sip of orange drink. Brought to you by the quenching of thirst. There we go. Anybody can give up. Trust me. Seen it, and seen it some more. Anybody can let things be overwhelming, especially the painful stuff. But you know what that's doing? It's wasting your pain. You know, what? No, wasting your pain. Pain is not there, whatever that pain may be, is not there to stop you. It's there to prep you, to increase you, to develop you, to sharpen you. You're tough. Trust me, you're tough. You are. You're like steel. And well, so is pain. But you know what? Steel sharpens steel. So go ahead, sharpen up. Let's go. Speaking of going, I want to go to the Bible for just a moment. You know, in the Bible, it talks about how God is in control, not just of our lives, but he's in control of our enemies as well. Get a load of this. And I had forgotten about this, okay? Satan himself, he had to ask God for permission to test Job. And if you know Job's story, whew, boy, oh boy, was that guy ever tested. I mean, you talk about, that's where the saying, the patience of Job, comes from. The thing of it is, though, the enemy, they may turn on or turn up the fire, as it were. But the good news is the boss, he's always got his hand on the thermostat. Ha! Deal with that. He's the controlling factor for how much heat, how much pain, okay, that we can handle, how much adversity comes along. He knows what we can handle. If it was, going to harm us rather than help us, he would have turned back the intensity. He would have tamped down the heat. In those tough times when you're uncomfortable, going through a loss maybe, dealing with an illness, or whatever else that may have you sideways, you know what I'm saying there, Chino? You could easily let things overwhelm you. It's very helpful to remind yourself, you know what, I might be in this fire, but I know who controls the temperature. The boss, right? Okay? He breathed life into me. He's for me, not against me. He's given me favor all the time. He takes pleasure in prospering me and helping me along. He's in complete control. This is good. He's not going to let it get too hot. He's not going to let it defeat me. No, listen, I'm not maybe going to like it, but I'm not a whining complainer. I'm a warrior. You know what? I've got this. I can handle this. Trust me when I tell you, if you've got an attitude like that, you're going to come out stronger each and every time. You're going to come out increased, promoted, better than you were before whenever whatever pain hits you. We've all heard the saying, especially if you've gone to the gym, okay, or been, I played football for many years, both in junior high and high school, and then as an adult, up to I'm 48 years old. You've all heard the saying, no pain, no gain. Well, you know what? If everything was always easy, we wouldn't be prepared for what's ahead of us. Our destiny, I guess you could call it. Some of the things I face today, if I'd have faced these same things in the same way 10, 15 or more years ago, whew, you would have seen a different John. It's as simple as that. It would have overwhelmed me. I wouldn't have been able to handle it like I do back then. Here's the thing. The boss knows what you need and when you need it. Every struggle is making us stronger. Every difficulty is growing us up, even when we're already, chronologically growing up, okay? Every painful time, even though we don't like it maybe, is developing something in us that can only be developed in the tough times, Got it? Don't grouse or gripe or beef or bitch about the pain. I know, easier said than done. I get it. But without the pain, we couldn't reach the fullness of what's destined for us, man. Researchers did an experiment with bumblebees, of all things. Get a load of this, too. They took them up into space. I don't know, maybe on the shuttle or something one time. They took bumblebees up into space to study the effects of weightlessness on them. So the bees, they floated through the air with the greatest of ease or 80th degrees or plates full of cheese or whatever they couldn't miss. They floated through the air very easily. They didn't have to use their wings. They just didn't. I bet they thought in their own little bumblebee way, hey, now this is it. This is the way we remain to live. No struggle, no adversity, no having to exert ourselves, no resistance, no nothing. And for a couple, 3 days, everything went great. But on the fourth day, something happened. They all died. They loved it being an easy situation with no adversity, but the problem was they were not created to not have resistance. You picking up what I'm dropping here? Similarly, we're not created to float through life on a flowery bed of ease and simplicity all the time. Trust me, ease and simplicity is one of my goals in every way possible, knowing that, you know what, it's going to be tough sometimes. But we're not made to float through life easy ease on in a gumdrop house located on Lollipop Lane. No, that's not it. While, yes, we're all going to go to the sweet by and by, as my father-in-law used to call it at some point, but right now we're living in the kind of nasty now and now. We'd love to not have any pain. You know, the nasty now and now gives us that, unfortunately. We'd love to not have any losses or disappointments, heartaches, betrayal, whatever, but that's not reality. Remember, I'm also the mayor of Reeltown, and again, some pain now and then, pain is able to be dealt with. It is, and that, my friends, is 100% real. That's as real as it gets, again, from your mayor of Reeltown. Difficulties, you know what, they're just part of life. It's as simple as that. We just need to know it, and we just need to keep our heads straight about it, but in a positive, upbeat, can-do, of good cheer way. Yes, you heard me. Turn the pain into positives. It's a huge help to work on having that perspective, the right perspective, by the way. And again, I know, easier said than done, John, easier said than done. Do you know me? Do you know how hair trigger my temper can get? I do. I understand. But you know what? Think about what you are doing. Like my fraternity brother Chris used to always say, guys, think about what you're doing, okay? In those tough times, look at it as a time to get prepared. Again, if it was too much, the boss would have turned down the temperature. Don't forget, again, he's got his hand on that proverbial thermostat. So quit telling yourself you can't take it. That is false. It is. You're not weak. You're well able. I'm not weak. I'm well able. We're armed with the strength for these kind of battles that we get here and there. We're all filled, whether we want to remember it or know it or not, we are filled with a bunch of positive, upbeat, and can-do power. Know that, please. The reason the fire can get so hot is because there's something amazing in our futures. The boss, he's just getting us prepared for that next level of our destiny, so to say. It's true. He doesn't just randomly say, let me give some pain to make their life miserable. Let me hit her with a sickness. Let me hit him with some marriage problems. No, that's not how it works. God's not someplace, doing that. There's a purpose for pain. We may not always understand it or get it, but there is. People have questions just like the mesothelioma. People have many questions. That guy on TV? But they do. People have many questions like, why did I get sick? Why did I lose my loved one? Why did my marriage not make it? Why is my job situation not so hot? I got to tell you, myself, your mayor of Reeltown, your captain of collaboration and common ground, I can't answer that for you. But what I can tell you is if the boss has allowed it, he knows how to get you to get some good from it. This is what, to me now, having faith is all about. Faith, believing in something that you cannot necessarily see, feel, touch, smell, experience, as a human. Faith, yeah, this is part of what, keeps me with some faith. I will talk to the boss every day. I pretty much do, okay? And it's usually as I'm showering, believe it or not. Go figure. I'm thinking to myself, why not get my mind and my body cleaned up and ready for the day? Hey, why not? It's a good time. So with something like this relative to pain, I've said things like, okay, God, I am not digging this pain, but I trust you. I know you've got this. You're steering the ship here. Now, I'm not going to just go through this pain. I'm going to see what I can do to grow through it. I'm going to keep a good attitude, as good, as positive as can be. I'm going to keep my joy. Remember we talked about that 2 weeks ago, keeping your joy? I'm going to keep my joy. I'm not going to let other knuckleheads take it from me, okay? Knowing that this pain, whatever it is going to lead to a gain, my gain. That's the kind of thought. I may not say that specifically, but that's the kind of thought that I'm bringing to the boss. Sometimes we can bring pain upon ourselves, though, too. We make a bad choice. We get into a relationship that we know is not good, or maybe we get over our head with spending, too much spending, racking up credit cards and all this, and now pain time. Welcome. No, not really. But we're having to deal with the consequences. You know, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Okay, you rack up a credit card, they're going to come looking for their money. It's as simple as that. Been there, done it, more times than I care to recall right now. However, the boss is also full of love, forgiveness, mercy, whatever you want to call it. He's always going to give us some grace. He's always going to give us some ideas, some creativity in motion so as to get out of our pain. Yeah, again, been there, done that too. But the way to not waste your pain is you have to learn the lesson. Don't just do it because, you know, you're going to do it again. Be big enough to look back and say, okay, right there, that's where I missed it. I ignored the warnings. I got involved in something I shouldn't have. I got out of the boss's timing. I got myself in a hurry. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and work on not doing that like that anymore. Yeah, good idea. There's a lesson in pain. Don't be hard-headed. You know, feeding into the insanity. You know the definition of insanity, don't you? Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. And as a result, by not stopping the insanity, you continue to have to keep going through the same pain over and over and over again. Don't do that. Smarten up. Come on now. A guy I know, he has struggled with diabetes for a good bit of his life. He ended up spending a month in the hospital not too long ago. Bumped into him recently. Looks better than ever, I have to tell you. He said, John, I got to say, that stay in the hospital was a wake-up call for me. I've lost 40 pounds. I've changed my diet. I exercise every day. I feel like a new guy. What was he doing? He was stopping the insanity, first of all, and second of all, not wasting his pain. He learned a good, solid lesson from all of that, from that month in the hospital. Again, been there and done that too. We talk about a lot of times in our lives about letting go of the past, letting go especially of the mistakes. It's good to look back on the fun things, the fond things, the upbeat things, the things that are just great memories. But the mistakes, the failures, the divorce, the bad choices, the bad relationships, toxic people in our lives and so on, yeah, it's true, but another way to say it is remember the lesson. Remember the lesson. Remember what you've learned in the experience and let go of the negative stuff, the negative events, okay? Here, too, it's sometimes a whole lot easier said than done. I get that. I really do, okay? Again, real. That's real. It's easier said than done. But it's always a good idea to give it a go. Give it a shot. Take the shot. Go take the shot, because if you don't take a shot at the good stuff, you're never going to score. You'll be hard-pressed to win. Wayne Gretzky said it. You never make the shots that you never take. Remember that. And if you go through a painful time and you don't come out with what you were supposed to learn, you're doing yourself a huge disservice. Talked to a fellow a while back. He was about to get married for the 5th time. Whoa. I didn't know anything about it, and I'm not judging him. I don't know his story, but he made a statement, half joking, I think, but half not joking. He said, John, say a prayer for me. All my wives end up running around on me. Now, that has got to suck out loud. I can't even imagine, okay? Now, I didn't say it, but I thought to myself a couple of things. Number one, wonder what you might be doing that's compelling these women to go running around on you. Number two, yeah, it seems like the one common denominator with all of this is you. There's a lesson in that pain somewhere that he's been missing. At least 4 times he's missed it. Don't keep repeating the same mistakes again and again and again. Like I said, stop the insanity. It's like this guy I heard about, you're driving his car, had an accident, and got out of the car, hair on fire, as upset as can be. I think I might be too, maybe. But the thing of it is, he went over to the other driver and yelled at her, said, "Lady, you need to learn how to drive. You're the fourth person that's run into me today." Really? 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 Here's a valid question. Are you bringing pain upon yourself? Are you struggling in something? Is it your job? Is it a relationship maybe? And you're not fulfilled because you keep saying everything that you feel like saying? You know what I mean? You don't have an edit button in your head to, again, button your lip, okay, when you should be buttoning your lip. There's a guy I played with and later coached semi-professional football with. His name is Travis, and he has a saying. I'm sure he still uses it, and he used it all the time. He said, he would always say, "Just because you can does not mean you should." I've made it a little bit different, not much. I say, just because you can does not always mean you should. Same thing. Here's the thing. Just because you can say what you want doesn't always mean you should. That's become one of my Johnisms. Again, just because you can does not always mean you should. It's true. Here's a news flash. Some of the pain is going to stop if you just zip it up. Shut up. Don't just go through it. Grow through it. Learn how to edit up here so it doesn't come out down here and then have a bad effect out there. Other times, we experience pain, and this is true also. We experience pain that has nothing to do with our choices. It wasn't our fault. We were doing the right thing, and the wrong stuff ended up happening. It just happens. You do the right thing, and sometimes bad things happen. Once again, to the Bible. The Bible says that rain falls on the just and the unjust. You can be the just, honoring God, doing your best, helping others, and it rains in your life. There are forces of darkness trying to keep us all from our destiny. The boss could have stopped it, but he didn't. And even though it's painful now, if you'll stay the course, keep the faith, I'm convinced that it'll keep leading you toward a destined path, our destiny. Back in 1981, a real good lady who I know of at the age of 48, she was doing the right thing. Raising 5 children, helping her husband lead and pastor a church. Life was good, real good. And then it began to rain. She was diagnosed with terminal liver cancer and given a few weeks to live. That was not only uncomfortable physically, obviously, but it was also painful emotionally as well. I can't even imagine. John, you've got 6 weeks, maybe 7 to live because you've got liver cancer. I saw that happen with my Uncle Hurley Stout Jr. Yeah, right after Christmas, 1999, all of a sudden he looked very yellow in his complexion. By the middle of February, he had passed. He had a liver thing. He had liver cancer, and it just was no good. So think of that. Think of that. Painful, physically and emotionally. And there she is thinking about possibly leaving her kids and leaving her husband when she doesn't want to. This gal, she didn't get depressed. She did not. She didn't get bitter and start blaming God, blaming the boss, blaming our Creator. She didn't do that. Her thing was, God, my life is in your hands. I know that you have promised that the number of my days you're going to fulfill. People don't have the final say, kids. People don't. The boss does, okay? So, get this, and it didn't happen overnight, but little by little, she got better and better. Go figure, okay? Now, 41 years later, today, she's not only still healthy and whole, but here's the point. In that difficult time, out of that pain, God thrust something into her new on her inside. She started going around and praying for other folks who were sick. To this day, I understand that she goes to the medical center every week and has a prayer service in the chapel. The very thing meant to destroy her, the boss used it to push her, I should say, into a new level of her destiny. Folks, he knows how to take your mess and turn it into a message. He really does. Take what was meant for harm and use it to your advantage. He truly does. There are times like with this nice lady that the boss is going to allow us to go through a season of difficulty so we can put something new and great in on the inside of us. That's not bad. That's painful, but it's not bad. Again, to the Bible. St. Paul writes, not to the letter, not a letter to the Romans, but in Corinthians, he says, the comfort we receive in our difficulties, I'm reading it here, the comfort we receive in our difficulties, now we can share that same comfort with other people in their time of need. Whoa. Meaning, experience is a good teacher. Yes, it is. And people also take credence. They bite in and they believe things that have actually happened to somebody they know or someone they know of. This rather than some old, made-up story, so to say. When you go through something that you don't understand, that doesn't make sense, starting to get negative, bitter, thinking, why did this have to happen to me? Have a new perspective, a new outlook, a new demeanor. It's tough. It's tough. It's damn tough sometimes. But the reason the boss allows things that have some pain is because he can trust us. He knows he can count on us to take the same love, the same healing, the same encouragement, and share it with others. Again, experience is a good teacher. Even though that struggle with liver cancer was very difficult for that nice lady, she talks about how she wouldn't change it now. Would not. She wouldn't have had it play out any differently in her life. The pain was for a greater purpose. It helped her see and get to her common ground. See how that works? See what I just did there? It's the truth, though. Maybe you've been through something that you don't understand. Maybe it's been something like a sickness, an illness, abuse, infertility. You're raising a difficult child. Or maybe you've got an adult child who just never seems to get it. They never fail to fail. Again, I know all about that too. Life hasn't turned out the way you'd thought, for you, for them, for whatever. It's painful. It's easy to adopt a victim's mentality. It's real easy. Okay, if everything from the boss is supposed to be so good, then why did this happen to me? Why did these people mistreat me growing up? Why did I have this bad situation in my life? And so on and so on and so on. Because he knows, God does, he knows he can trust you. The forces of darkness, so to speak, that tried to take you out with more and more fire, those things, remember, don't sweat it, because the boss, once again, he always had his hand on the thermostat. He said, hold on a minute, not so fast. That's my son. That's my daughter. I've got an assignment for them to do and complete. They need to hang around. Simple as that. Just like the boss said to the enemy, okay, you can test Job. Yep, you can. But you can't take his life. He's not going to quit serving me. I know what Job is made of. I trust him. Same thing is being said about us. It's the truth. I can just imagine the boss somehow saying or thinking, well, it may be painful, but I know what they're made of. It may be difficult, may not be fair, but I'm only going to bring them out. I'm going to bring them out. And if I'm going to bring them out, I'm going to bring them out better. And I'm going to use them to help other people who are struggling in kind of the same areas. Yeah, that's what we'll do. Again, experience. Such a good teacher. We're trustworthy. We are. There's a purpose for the pain that we get tossed at us. Do you know how many businesses or organizations or charities, ministries, or what have you have been birthed out of pain? Here's a classic, and you probably have heard this, and if you haven't, I'm going to tell you, and it'll be new. If not, I'm going to tell you again. This is going back about 42 and a half years. May of 1980, a woman by the name of Candy Lightner got a phone call saying that her 13-year-old daughter, Carrie, she'd been hit by a car walking to church, of all places. Yeah. Unfortunately, Carrie died that day because of the accident. Candy, her mother, was absolutely devastated and destroyed. I'd be beside myself. I'd be destroyed too. She didn't think she could go on until she learned the man driving the car that hit her was under the influence of alcohol. Dude was drunk, and he was a repeat offender to boot. When she heard this, something rose up in her, the likes of which she had never felt before. Likes of which, I should say. In her late daughter's bedroom, she started a new organization. No money, no influence, no experience, no nothing, just desire, just a fire in her belly. She called it MADD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving. You've heard of that, haven't you? Of course you have. Today, that organization has saved hundreds of thousands of lives. It's helped to change laws. It's helped to influence policy where DUI or DWI, whatever it's called in your place, is concerned. Candy Lightner understands this principle. She didn't waste her pain. How about it? And that's a lot of pain. I can't even imagine losing my child. Oh, forget it. No, it didn't bring her daughter Carrie back. It did not. But she knew that there was a purpose for the pain. She could have sat around depressed, moping and whining and carrying on and bitter and blaming God and whomever else, but she didn't. She didn't put a question mark where there'd already been a period placed. Why do that? You can't. That piece in her puzzle made absolutely no sense at the time it happened, but she believed that when everything was going to come together, it would fall perfectly into place as it was all coming together. And that's precisely exactly what happened. Today, she is impacting the world, Candy Lightner. Most of us will never experience something as tragic and horrific that Candy did. But if she can take one of the greatest pains in life, turn it around to become a force of good, I'm saying that we can all find a purpose in whatever pain that we get. It's just that simple to me. Don't get caught up in the where this piece to my puzzle fits. Where does it fit? You know, don't get caught up in the, well, this doesn't make sense. This isn't a good piece. How do you know? It wouldn't be in the box if it wasn't a good piece. Trust me. Keep moving forward. Do like Candy Lightner did. Go out and encourage somebody else. Healing comes when you get your mind off your own pain, off of what you lost, what didn't work out, and you help others. As long as you stay focused on yourself, as long as you keep it, I, me, my, okay, you're going to get stuck. Trust me, you will. I know people right now who are absolutely stuck. And if you were to ask them, they'd tell you 180 degrees differently. Absolutely. There's a blessing in the pain. You have something to give others. You can encourage people who are going through what you've already been through. Once again, experience people. What a teacher that is. A lady I know, she got a bad medical report, and doctors found what they thought was a cancerous tumor. And we all hoped and prayed that the follow-up report would come back negative. It did not. They found out it was cancer. That said, she knew that she's not a victim. She's a victor, not a victim. She knew the boss wouldn't allow it unless he could bring something good from it. It's that simple. Like that mother of 5 with liver cancer back in 1981. She didn't get defeated. Her attitude was, I know I'm in the palm of the boss's hand. Nothing can snatch me out of it. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't like it, but I trust him. Wow. That's impactful. At any rate, back to the woman with the tumor. For a year, she took chemotherapy. Not easy. For a month, let alone a year. She lost all her hair. She got really sick, but today she's 18 years cancer-free. You know what she does now? Yeah, she goes back to the same hospital that she was in, and now she's a volunteer. She encourages people that are fighting cancer. Been there and done that. Experience is a good teacher. She encourages those people. She tells them pretty much for the most part, I know what you're going through. I've been there. I've taken the chemo, and look, the boss has my back, and he got me through it. He can do the same for you. One more time for the people way in the back. Experience is what? A fantastic teacher. It's true. It's true. She's not wasting her pain. Her test has become her testimony. Ha! See what I just did there? We've all been been through things, I should say, that are very uncomfortable, very unpleasant, painful, and so forth. And of course, we don't like it. No, we don't. But the boss, you know what? He makes a way when we don't see a way. It's that simple. And I don't mean to bang the drum on this, like some televangelist, because that's not my mission. I just know what I know, and I feel what I feel, and I believe in what I believe in. Simple as that. If it wasn't for everything that he brings, the healing, the favor, the goodness, the mercy, along with those of us who do the good things with all that in mind, we wouldn't be here. So go ahead. Let your light shine. Do it. What you've been through, you may think it's no big deal, but somebody else is going through the same thing, and it's a big deal to them. You can help somebody else get through it, whatever it may happen to be. Be on the lookout for somebody you can encourage. Don't waste your pain. Coach Dale Brown at Louisiana State University, LSU, he tells about a young lady named Lolo Jones. Maybe you heard of her. You probably have if you know track and field. She's a star sprinter. She holds world records in the hurdles. Back about, 14 years ago at the Olympics in 2008, she was heavily favored to win the gold medal. Nobody had come close to her time in the hurdles. So there she was, lined up on the track, ready to go. Starter fired the gun. Off she went like a shot. Everything was going great. She was in first place just like everybody expected. 8 hurdles down, just 2 to go. And she wins the gold medal. It's as simple as that. A dream would come true. But somehow on the 9th hurdle, her timing got off. She hit it. She stumbled, fell to the track, and that allowed all the other runners to pass her by. She didn't win the gold. She won nothing. Huge disappointment. She trained her whole life for those 12 seconds and nothing. Now it's over. Wah, wah, wah. But no, get this. They interviewed her a little afterwards, and she said, in effect, yeah, it's painful. Yeah, I'm disappointed, but I know now I can help other people who also have fallen. What? All her life she trained for this, and she comes at it like this? Wow, that's a high-quality individual right there. When you've been through something, in one sense, you've been given a gift. You're uniquely qualified to help other people struggling with the same or very similar situation. Don't sit around feeling sorry for yourself. Go out and lift somebody else up. Everything happens to us for a reason. Yes, I know. We've heard that cliche term a gazillion times. Nothing is a coincidence. Everything happens for a reason. But you know what? Believe it, okay? Work with that. Some things are to help us grow, to mature, and come up higher. Then there are the times that the boss will allow us to go through a difficult season so that later on we can be instrumental in helping somebody else overcome their difficult season. Can you be trusted with handling the pain? Can I be trusted? Can the boss trust us with this to be uncomfortable? Will we get negative, bitter? Will we do the, why is this happening to me, routine? Will we do that? Let me tell you 2 things. Pain is just part of the plan, number 1. It's okay. Lean into it. Make it work. Number 2, and let me say this respectfully, it's not always all about you. And there you have it. What if and again, time out for this brief little sip of thirst-quenching material. So good. And so good for you. What if the boss allowed whatever type of pain so that, say, a couple, 3 years from now, we could help somebody else to move forward? Are we trustworthy like that? My guess, and I'm going to bet, I put money on the fact that we are trustworthy. When my father died just over 2 years ago, it was not my happiest moment. If you've lost loved ones, you'll agree it can really hurt. Like hell. It sucks. It stinks on ice. It's very painful. And of course, I didn't like it when my dad died. I was uncomfortable. 6.5 years before that, same thing with my mother. Didn't like it one damn bit. It sucked out loud. It stunk on ice, and I hated it. That said, there are people who I know and who we've known, my family, for a long time. John, they say to me, John, when you talk about your father and your mother too, like you do, especially when you talk like they did, it's almost as if your mother and dad are still around, still here. Thinking of that, it helped me deal with and overcome it when my parents recently passed. It's only been a few years. I mean, 2 years seems like 10 minutes ago. 8.5 years ago seems like a year ago. And you know, thinking back, I've done that all my life, pretty much all my life. I've impersonated people from family to famous folks since I was a kid. I remember doing my grandmother, you called her Grammy. I remember doing my Grammy's laugh all growing up, and she didn't necessarily always like it. She thought I was mocking her until finally I was old enough, like 12, 13 years old. I said, Grammy, I am not mocking you. It's imitation, it's impersonation, which again is the sincerest form of flattery. Grammy, I love you. Why would I mock you? I'm not mocking you. And she kind of got it. Well, she died when I was 15. About 9, 10 years later, after she died, we were all at a family get-together with all the remaining aunts and uncles and cousins and so on. It was a full house. I mentioned that something was being talked about, about something that was being talked about, my Grammy would have gotten a kick out of. And people were like, oh, yeah, no kidding, you're right. And then there was that pause of nothing for like 2, maybe 3 seconds. And I did her laugh. Okay, she used to, I can't do it like I used to because my voice is deeper, but she had a thing that went, okay, like that. I did it, and it was spot on. And for a moment, everybody got real quiet. My one aunt turned to me and looked at me with a combination of, wow, that was spot on, and the other combination of it was, how dare you, okay? At that moment, my cousin Nancy, who was hosting this little shindig, she must have caught that weird vibe. She immediately put it all in perspective when she said, see, thanks to John remembering Grammy's laugh, it's almost like she's still right here after all this time. And with that, everybody was like, oh, yeah, you're right, wow. And I'm like, whew, that almost got ugly in a heartbeat. But the point is, you take the pain and you use it how you will to turn it into something positive. I can impersonate my father. His voice and mine, growing up, were very similar. He'd answer the phone, I'm in high school or college, yellow, kid with the yellow, okay? I would answer it similarly, hello, okay? And it would be Mr. So-and-so from the church council. My father was treasurer. Hey, John, we got to work on that budget next week. Hey, Mr. So-and-so, it's young John, because my father's name was also John. Oh, gee, you sound just like your father. Hey, could you get him on the phone for me? Absolutely, Mr. So-and-so. Hang on one moment. So I can impersonate my father to the point of it's like he's still here. Now, I can't necessarily spot on do that with my mother because she had a woman's voice, but I have the whole ism of my mother about the impersonation. Well, I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but she was very much like that. I used to call her Marie, after Marie Barone from Everybody Loves Raymond. Affectionately, and she's like, I'm not like that. I'm like, you think? Watch it again. So, she's still around. Dad's still around. My Grammy in my mind, because again, my voice is different than it was when I was umpteen years old, but she's still around. My Poppy too, I even said something to myself today that sounded just like my grandfather. I got my laundry done, and I was on my way upstairs to the next project, and I said, there, now. I'm like, whoa, that's what Poppy used to say, and Poppy's been gone since 1975. I still have him in there and up here. Here's the thing. It's experience once again. I'm telling you, it's experience. There my mother was. There my father is. There my Poppy and my Grammy are. Okay, it's experience, and you take that experience and parlay it into something positive. Done right and done respectively, it can really be comforting to hear somebody who's no longer with us. I can still do that a little bit, kind of like a Frank Caliendo or Rich Little of the day, so to speak. I can share that comfort with other people. We've all got something like that to give. We've all been through a hurt, through a loss, through a disappointment. Don't see it as, oh man, this is so bad, and only that, because, oh man, it is bad. But we may not like it, but there's a purpose once again for that pain. There was a report on TV about this lady. She was a large woman, first of all. She'd always been perfectly healthy, though. She started feeling a little nauseated, couldn't figure out what was wrong. Over the coming months, her back started hurting, her feet were swelling up, she couldn't sleep well at night. She went to the doctor early on. She thought it was some kind of a virus that would soon pass. Month after month after month, different symptoms popped up: uncomfortable, swollen, gaining more weight. She didn't like that at all. One day, she started feeling incredibly huge pains in her stomach area. She tried to get through it thinking that it was going to pass, but it kept getting worse and worse. Finally, she couldn't take it any longer. In excruciating pain, she said to her husband, "I've got to have you take me to the hospital." To the ER they went. The doctor examined her and said, "I know exactly what's going on here." An hour and a half later, he handed her a brand new baby boy. She was pregnant and didn't even know it. All the symptoms she was feeling, the pain, the discomfort, the nausea, there was a purpose for it. A change was taking place. She was about to give birth. Many times, like this woman, we're pregnant and we don't know it, so to speak. All we can feel is the pain. Yow, yow, that hurts. Yow, I'm uncomfortable. That pain is the sign that you're about to give birth. So if you stay the course, eventually, and stay in some faith too, maybe, eventually the pain is going to pass. You're going to give birth to a new strength, a new talent, new initiatives, new charity, new friendships, new stuff, a new level. The pain is for a purpose, kids. A change is taking place. When you're in a difficult time, don't just focus on what hurts. Focus on the fact that something new, a new level, is on its way. Once again, back to the Bible, this time the New Testament. It says, Jesus endured the pain of the cross, looking forward to the joy that was set before him. Listen, if you only focus on where you are in the pain, you're going to get negative. Imagine Jesus up there on the cross like they had him nailed fast with that thorny crown. He could have gotten super, super negative really quickly. Have a new perspective, though. Have the right perspective of, okay, I don't like this situation. I know this pain's not here to stop me. It's here to promote me. It's a sign I'm about to give birth to something new. This is what a couple, two folks by the name of Craig and Samantha did. They had two beautiful children. Samantha was expecting their third child. When little Connor was born, they soon realized that something wasn't right. Something was off. He wasn't talking. He wasn't developing as fast as the other children his age. He was diagnosed with autism. Now, they loved Connor very much. Of course they did. But they were taken a little aback by all of this. It's not what they were expecting. But Craig and Samantha understood this principle. They didn't put a question mark where a period had already been placed. They knew the reason they had Connor was because they were trustworthy. They were trustworthy. The boss knew this, and he knew that they wouldn't waste this pain. Craig, this little guy's father, mentioned that how at the time they didn't have any classes for special needs kids at the church that they went to. So as a consequence, many parents of kids who had issues, they couldn't go to a service because they needed constant attention at home to be with their kids. So this guy Craig thought, how about we start a special needs class for these kids? We can call it Champions Club. That's it, Champions Club. In that time of pain, Craig recognized that he was pregnant, so to speak. He was about to give birth to something new. They started the Champions Club. That was the new thing. In the first few months, it enabled dozens of new families to join their church. Other churches heard about it. Craig helped them launch their special need classes there. Today, there are over 30 Champions Clubs in 7 different nations around the world. Here's the thing. When it's painful, do all you can to not get discouraged. Get ready. You're about to give birth. It's as simple as that. That discomfort you're feeling, that's not just a random pain. Those are birth pains. Blessings are in that pain. There's a gift in the pain. There's a new initiative in the pain. There's a new level coming to you in that pain. Don't waste it. Do like Craig at his church. Be on the lookout. Look for opportunities. You can encourage somebody else. Can you be trusted with the pain? Will you get negative, bitter, bent out of shape? Or will you be more like, okay, I don't get it, I don't understand it, but I know there's a purpose. Remember, the boss always has his hand on the thermostat. Remember, if it was too much, too hot, he'd have cut back the heat. So don't, again, here it is again, don't just go through it, grow through it. If you do this, I'm here to tell you that your pain is about to be turned into your gain. You're going to come out stronger, increased, promoted, new levels. Out of that pain is going to be the opportunity to birth you into the fullness of your destiny. Wow, can you imagine? So this way you can literally and or figuratively get to your common ground. By these things I stand, you should too. That's all of it, kids. Thanks once again. Give the rest of the week your best shot. I myself, I'm going to slide on out of here for now. Till next time. Thank you. And God bless you. And again, until next time, this is Common Ground with me, John THEILLON. So long.